Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm gonna show you how to delete the post just by clicking those X buttons. And as you can see, this post belongs to John, which is actually the user that I logged in, and also this one is also belongs to this user. But this one is for different user. Okay, so I cannot delete this one. I can only delete the my post. So when I click this one, guys, it will ask me, are you sure you won't be able to revert this? And if I click yes, delete it, as you can see, it automatically will delete the post and it will show that post successful deleted message here. So now let's have a move and try to implement this functionality. First of all, I'm gonna change it to the post.me. Okay, so now as you can see in this application, which is not completed, when I click this X button, as you can see, it does not shows anything here because we didn't implement this functionality yet. So now let's move on to our code. And in this code, guys, I mean in index.php, as you remember, I have write echo and I have add the button here in this line. Okay, so it shows this button here. So I'm just gonna add another thing on this button. I'm just gonna add an on click method, and I'm gonna write here delete pause. So whenever I click this button, it will call this function, but this is going to be a JavaScript function. So that's why I'm just gonna create a JavaScript tag here, and I'm gonna create this function. I'm gonna say function delete pause, and this function as a parameter will get the ID of any pause. Okay, so for test, I'm just gonna print this ID here to the console. Okay, but what about ID? How are we gonna give the ID to this function? We have to write here post ID, which is comes from this post variable. Okay, and let's try to see if it is working. So in here I'm gonna renew the page, but unfortunately we got an error here. It says expecting a string, but we didn't get a string. Okay, because the error is here, we shouldn't use that double quotation mark. Instead we have to use a single quotation mark. Okay, so when I come here, when I renew the page, as you can see, it works fine. So I'm just gonna open the inspector mode, and here whenever I click this button, I have to see the ID of this post, like as this one, it says 19. But what about this one? When I click it, now I am seeing 20 because this post ID is 20. Okay, the next step is whenever we click this button, we have to show an alert message here, and we have to give two options like yes, delete it, or cancel. So for to do that, actually there's a very easy way. We have to write sweet alert to. This is a JavaScript plugin actually, and whenever we go to this site, just go to the installation and copy this script here and just paste it here. Okay, actually we are importing, I mean we are including the plugin to our application. So here guys, then let's go to examples, and in the examples we need I think this one. Yes, whenever we click this one, as you can see, it shows this message to us. So I'm just gonna copy whole of the JavaScript here, and I'm just gonna copy it in this function that we have right. So whenever we click this function, actually it should show the same message to us as well. I'm just gonna review the page, and here whenever I click this button and successfully, as you can see, it asks, are you sure you won't be able to revert this? Yes, delete it and cancel. Okay, so we are going to write a logic for this yes, delete it button. So whenever user clicks it, this one, you have to remove the post, you have to delete the post. So that's why I'm just gonna delete here. And here guys, as you can see, we have a result as a parameter. Actually it's not a parameter, it's a callback function actually, because we have this one. So whenever user clicks the yes delete it, actually this if statement is working here. So whenever you click, I'm just gonna print the post ID as well in the console. So that's why I'm just gonna write the same thing here. I'm just gonna come here, I'm gonna review the page, and I'm gonna try to see if it is working. We click this one, as you can see nothing happened because we have to click the yes deleted. When I click yes deleted, as you can see it prints 19. And also I'm gonna try it for the second post as well, and as you can see it prints 20. Okay, everything is works here. So the next step is we have to send a post request to this index.php, and we have to delete the post. So that's why I'm just gonna create a form here. Okay, and in this form I'm just gonna give index.php as an action, which means whenever this form is submitted, it will send request to this index.php, and as a method I'm gonna send post. Also I'm gonna give an ID to this form as well. I'm gonna say delete post. So in this form, guys, I'm just gonna create an input field. I'm gonna say input, and I'm gonna give it an ID as well, which is delete ID, and I'm gonna give it a name as well. I'm gonna say delete ID. Okay, and its value will be empty. What that means, we have created an input field, and whenever we click this one, actually it will submit these inputs. Okay, so it will submit it with this name, delete ID. Okay, but what about ID? How actually we are going to put an ID to this form? But just before that, let's go to the here and see what has happened. As you can see, the user can see this input field here, and user can type something here. But I don't want that. Instead of that, I'm just gonna make sure that this input field is not visible to the user. So I'm just gonna change this text to the hidden. So when I try again, as you can see, whenever it's been completed, whenever it's been renewed, as you can see, it has been gone. User cannot see this input field anymore. So somehow I have to be sure that this form will be submitted whenever I click that yes delete it. So to do that, guys, I'm just gonna write here, I'm gonna delete this consulting here, and I'm gonna say document get element by ID, and I'm gonna give this one delete ID value will be ID. So whenever user clicks yes delete it, actually this input field's value will become whatever is this one. If the post ID is 20, then this input field's value will become 20. So our JavaScript will automatically put 20 here. Okay, so the next thing is we have to submit this form. But how are we gonna submit it? We are just going to write document get element by ID, then we have to write delete post, because our form's ID is delete post, and we have to say submit. It will automatically submit this form. Okay, so we have to catch these submitted things, but how are we gonna catch it? We have to write if statement here, and we have to say if is set post delete ID. If there's a delete ID submitted, then just say I'm gonna create a PHP variable here, delete ID, and I'm gonna get it from this delete ID, and I'm gonna print it to the screen as well. I'm gonna say delete ID. Okay, so whenever I submit it, it will show this ID on the screen. Okay, let's have a try it. I'm just gonna close this one. I'm gonna renew the page. When I click this one, it asks me, whenever I click yes delete it, as you can see it says 619. What about this one? If I click it, now as you can see it says 20. So that means our submission is actually completed. We successfully submit the post to the index.php. But how are we gonna delete it? To delete it, guys, we have to write result post delete post, and we have to give this ID. What that means, actually we are calling a delete post function from this post object. So actually this has to be post underscore. Okay, but we didn't create this function yet, so that's why we have to go to the post.php, and we have to write here public function delete post, and as a parameter we'll get the ID of the post ID, and we have to write a simple SQL statement here, and it's going to be SQL delete from post where id is equal to this one. And I'm gonna create a statement as well. I'm gonna say this connection prepare SQL. And the next step is, guys, we have to write a try and catch block here. So I'm just gonna write try and catch an exception x, and in this try block, guys, I'm just gonna write statement execute, and I have to supply this ID. So that's why I'm just gonna write here post ID, which I'm getting from the parameter. Also, after executing this one, guys, if everything is goes okay, then I'm gonna return true. Otherwise, if there is an error occurred, then it will go to this catch block and I'm gonna return false. Okay, I think we have to put a dollar sign here as well, as like this one, and now our function is completed. Okay, guys, the last thing that we have to do in the index.php, we have to check if the result is okay or not. But where are we gonna check it? We are gonna check it inside this PHP blocker, which we have already written it before. So I'm just gonna write if the result is not false, because as you remember here, whenever we call this function, this delete post function, actually this is returning true or false. If the post is deleted, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So let me go back to the index.php. Index.php, guys, I just noticed that we forgot to write e here because our variable is delete id. Okay, so now let me go to our if statement, and in the if statement we have to write if the any post is deleted, these results become true, and we have to show the message. So that's why I'm just gonna write div class alert danger, then role will be alert as well. This is a bootstrap class, and I'm gonna print post successfully deleted. I'm gonna close this one. And now, guys, let me go and try if we can delete a post or not. So here I'm just gonna try to delete this one. I'm just gonna click, and I'm gonna click the yes deleted, and it says post successfully deleted, but it didn't delete it because still we can see the post here. Okay, I'm gonna check what is wrong here. Actually, I found the error, guys. I have tried again, and I have seen that whenever we clicking this button and whenever we're deleting, actually it delete the post, but we have to refresh the page because in our code, before that, checking if the delete ID is submitted, actually we are getting all the posts from database and we are storing them in the old post variable. So because of that, it first prints its message here because post is deleted, but then it shows all the posts accordingly to this all post array, because it's actually kind of array. It holds more than one post inside. So to fix this problem, guys, we have to get these if block here, and we have to put it here. Okay, because first of all we need to check if user want to delete something, then we're gonna delete it. Then after that we will get the old post from the database. Okay, so whenever we try again, I'm gonna try to delete this one. As you can see, it deleted. So, and now it didn't show anything here. But the another problem is, guys, if I go here, if I go index.php, as you can see, it says undefined variable result, because actually our result variable is inside that if block. We are creating it inside here, so we have to make it false as by default. I'm gonna make it false as by default. So whenever I go to index.php again, as you can see, we don't have this error anymore. And I'm gonna try to add some of the other posts as well, like test 2. I'm gonna add one more, test 3, and I'm gonna check if I can delete them. I want to delete test 2. I just clicked, and yes, as you can see, it's been deleted. Also, I'm not gonna show this post ID as well. I'm just gonna come here. I'm just gonna delete this one here. So when I try to delete this one, as you can see, it deletes it and it did not show. So actually, guys, for this video, that's all. If you want to ask any question, you can ask me in the comments. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. So, and also guys, I'm gonna continue to another series. I'm gonna try to teach you how to create a login system or how to create a simple application on Laravel. So see you in there.